For the cutter, Kaliza gets one to go.
Second and third now for Bedford. That's a line drive single. And Charlie Cariello now strikes out Ryan Stram.
Draws the double, redodges, beautiful, and scores. Stick quickly, Purnell drives righty, shoots, scores.
That is it. Bedford is your girls lacrosse champion. The Bulldogs are champs once again.
And welcome into a beautiful spring afternoon from Bedford, New Hampshire. Bedford High School Stadium, where we will see the Bedford Bulldogs take on the Merrimack High School Tomahawks. I'm Corey Munster Tiger for BC TV, joined in the booth by Jay Abendroth and Todd Koss, here for a phenomenal tilt this afternoon. 13-1 Bedford Bulldogs against the 8-6 Merrimack High School Tomahawks. Jay, thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, you go through a whole preseason and early part of the season in the cold to come to days like this. This is lacrosse weather, Corey. So happy to see the seniors out there with their parents. A lot of hard work, a lot of defensive firepower there. We'll talk about that later. But really happy for this Bedford team. Really coming in for Merrimack up and down year, 8-6. Looking forward to seeing the Bedford team bring it home for their parents on senior night.
Senior night it is. Todd, what are you expecting from these seniors as they get things rolling here as face-off approaches?
Well, I think as we've seen over the last couple of games, or really all season, the Bedford senior defense has really been dominating, and I expect to see more of that today for sure. You know, on paper it looks like Bedford could potentially run away with it, but last year, you know, Merrimack at the end of the year had a victory over these guys. So as they say, that's why they play the games.
At the end of the year, that was a playoff game, and that sent the Bulldogs home as they were taking on Merrimack in the first round of the playoffs last year. The Tomahawks took home victory and sent the Bulldogs packing. 12 minutes on the board. As you mentioned, it is senior night. 10 seniors here for the Bulldogs were honored before the game. We'll see footage of that at halftime if you're watching on the replay. If you were here in the stadium, that's good for you. At halftime today, we'll take a break. Those seniors, number 1, Derek Kaliza, number 4, Kevin Sheridan, number 7, Dylan Soden, number 8, Spencer Henrishon, 20, Sam Durso, 22, Alex Gabri, 23, JJ Gaffney, 27, Tristan Kerr, and 30, Ian Fletcher, getting the nod in the goal today to start this match. So for the starters on the Merrimack side, at attack, we will have 22, Sean Anderson, the sophomore. As you're seeing it on the screen there, a little screwed up as far as the positions are concerned, but Nathan Bergen will also get the start, number 2, the junior, as well as number 6, Connor Dunn, the senior midfielder. Number 7, Hudson Russo, a freshman, getting the nod. Number 9, Max Giles, the junior. Junior number 3, Beau Lamontagne. 27, Colby Smith, also a junior. He'll be at defense. Sophomore, Gavin Hickey, also on defense, number 47. And then freshman, number 88, Brett Vitry, also in defense. Between the pipes will be Mason Tremblay. That rounds out the Merrimack Tomahawks. Coach Brian Miller will join the squad today. He's assisted by James Costa, Joe Pellerine. Goalie coach is Kyle McLean. For the Bulldogs, starting at attack, you'll have Derek Kaliza, the senior, number 1. Luke Purnell, the only junior that's going to start today, also at attack. Dylan Soden, the midfielder. I'm not sure if he'll line up at attack or not, but number 7 will be on the field to start. Number 22, Alex Gabri, senior midfielder. Number 23, JJ Gaffney, also the senior midfielder. Sam Durso, the long stick midfielder, number 20. Kevin Sheridan, Spencer Henrishon, and Tristan Kerr will round out the defense. They've been their starters all year, and that senior leadership will be seen once again. Sheridan, number 4, Henrishon, 8, and Tristan Kerr, number 27. And then between the pipes for the Bulldogs will be number 30, senior goalkeeper Ian Fletcher. Officials are talking to the table there. We'll have the teams have their traditional meet and handshake in a few minutes. But we will join you just after the national anthem for Division I lacrosse action. And we're back here. Good rendition of the anthem played over loudspeakers in the stadium. Again, the Bulldogs coming in with a 13-1 record. Their only loss coming against Bishop Girton back on April 23rd. A double overtime thriller that they lost, unfortunately, but that is their only blemish. Remaining schedule, they'll take on Londonderry in Londonderry on Wednesday, and then they'll travel to Pinkerton on Friday to close out their regular season. They previously beat Pinkerton earlier this season for the first time in several years for Bedford. So it was a good omen leading into the rest of the season. Merrimack, on the other hand, will take on Exeter at home on Wednesday. It'll be a tough matchup from our friends out east. And then they will take on Nashua South on Friday to close out their regular season, as both these teams position themselves for postseason play. Little Metallica filling your ears. One thing that Todd Koss always had on his playlist getting psyched for the games was Metallica.
I will say, when I was playing Pop Warner football, Elks Crusaders, not to brag, state champs, regional champs, super regional champs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, not to brag, but I will.
But right, I used to listen to Metallica on the car ride to every game.
All right.
Yep.
Good timing.
I did a little.
That.
I did that song in one. Was how I got pumped up.
And on senior night, those are the type of stories parents definitely sacrifice for their children, having to listen to that every car ride. So
I actually believe it was on a Walkman, so my mom did not have to listen to it.
Shout out to the moms out there, and the dads, and the supporters of the family.
Sheridan wins the face-off, takes it down, takes a shot, and saved by Mason Tremblay.
Good for Tremblay. We've seen in the past couple games here where goalies, as we talked about, just caught off guard sometimes. He was ready. He knew. He's probably either been told or watched a little film that the defensemen for Bedford are not afraid to let it rip. He was in position. Looks like he took it off the shoulder, but very well prepared for that.
Early save to get his defense going, and now the Bulldogs will make their substitutions, get their normal starters in. Kaliza will wheel it around. Matthews. Shot score. Help from Matthews, getting the Bulldogs started early. Worm burner from the top right finds that low right corner. And the Bulldogs go out 1-0.
Yeah, and I'd say really good omen for the Bulldogs. Moving the ball quickly. Still didn't penetrate the defense, but they were able to move the ball fast enough, get the goalie going from side to side. Pretty easy shot from Helton in the bottom left corner.
You see most of the times these days, kids are going from low to high, low to low. Just every once in a while will cause a goalie to just hiccup a smidgen, and wasn't able to get down and make the save.
Nice face there by Hudson Russo, wins it for the Tomahawks. Yeah, we talk about changing planes on those shots too, and the bouncer certainly helps with changing that plane, but low to low or high to high, you're not fooling the goalie much unless you can use the ground to your advantage. Merrimack will settle into their half-field offense. Here's Caden Dine. They'll spin it behind to Sean Anderson. Pressured heavily by Sheridan. Good wrap check there, but Anderson picks it back up. Now up top to Peyton Connolly. He'll have a go. Bounce shot wide. Backed up behind by Anderson.
Happy to see there's no smidgen of hiccup in Fletcher.
I was waiting for somebody. I was waiting for somebody to
first save attempt
to catch that, but
it's a good another song name for Total Blackout, the band.
Yeah. Smidgen of hiccup.
Yep.
I like it. Shot goes wide here. Chasing behind were two Bulldogs defenders, but Anderson is farthest back, closest to it, where it went out when it went out. So the Tomahawks retain possession on that shot. Of course, if it's a pass, that is not the case. Anderson dishes off. Here's Connor Dunn looking to go one-on-one, gets the inside roll, but the ball pops out Kerr able to check it away, and Fletcher comes up the ground ball. Bulldogs will clear it out.
Couldn't quite tell there, Corey. Good move on the inside. If he lost control on his own or if there was a check take, either way, he did lose the ball, but couldn't tell if he just lost control trying to switch his hands, get back to his right, or if it was checked away. Either way, well done by Bedford to scoop it up, get it down the other end.
Helton clears it out, steps it in the box, and then drops it off for J.J. Gaffney, who looks to go one-on-one from top left of Tremblay. Gets in, gets tripped.
Loose hold, right outside.
Near side official says loose hold. It's always a funny one. He doesn't want to throw the flag there, but it seemed pretty clear that Gaffney still had the ball in his stick. That's a very frequent official adjustment, if you will.
If anything, it could have been just a loose ball push.
Kaliza inside, gets the feed, and then gets mobbed by 3 defenders. Ground ball comes away with Bergen for the Tomahawks. Purnell on the ride, his stick falls out of his hand. And now the Tomahawks will settle things down. Here's Connolly again, near side Dine. Look to play a possession game here. Back up top, Connolly looks to go one-on-one with Riccio. There's Maxwell Giles. Gets into the middle, takes a high shot. High of the cage. Backed up behind by Anderson. Got some space there, about a 10 or 12 yard shot. Just sailed it over the cage.
I am getting older, but it looked like there was just a cross check to the face. A slap check to the face. Did I see that, or am I making that up?
I think it was a brush.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
And Giles took a shot in the back too after he let that shot go.
Right.
And that very easily could have been called from the far side official. Sheridan here with a nice little wrap check, gets the ball on the carpet, turns it over. Henry Sean up to Helton.
It's clear that Bedford has given Sheridan the green light on the attackman for Merrimack to go ahead and take it away. Sean Anderson to go ahead and pressure him, take it away. We've seen it all over both sides of the field, down behind. There's no question he's attacking him, and a senior on a sophomore trying to make his impression felt early.
Yeah, and you like that too. He's a big, strong athlete, very fast, very quick. You might as well give him a little leeway there. Have some fun. Go out there. You know, if you get beat, you're going to have help, but let's extend out that defense and put some pressure on hands. Matthews back to Kaliza. Kaliza, low shot score.
Yeah, it looked like there. We see Merrimack actually in a zone, but a little different than we've seen in previous. They have the short stick in the middle of the field trying to create better matchups as Bedford goes through that wheel, but Kaliza was able to catch with free hands, and you see him come around to the top of the crease, and he has the option to go left or right on that goalie, decides to go right 5-hole down the middle.
Yep, no question. Hands free, 12, 14 yards out, stepping down, following the zone in where it creates the void, letting it rip.
Bulldogs control the following face-off. Riccio can't get it to go, and now we have another goal. Nice little garbage on that backside. It looked like it was Kaliza scooping up DeLucy and finishing for the Bulldogs.
Looks
so
the same in the scorebook, Corey. Looks the same in the scorebook, Corey.
It sure does.
That's right. They all count as one.
But nice ball movement down on the fast break off the face-off with Bedford. You know, sometimes you see on the face-off guy, he always gets down into an area where things start to get a little tight. Every once in a while, I like the option of pushing it early to the point, letting the defense slide early, then you can go right back to him.
Yeah, Dylan Riccio has done a great job at the X all season for the Bulldogs, just a freshman. And again, yeah, push it early, look to get it back, or hold and draw that defender and get the defense moving. So you have all kinds of options. Shot didn't go in, but again, Derek Kaliza right there on the doorstep, ready for that loose ball, and finished it.
Part of it, and this is why I love seeing Bedford extend. Sometimes you have to actually disrupt their move by extending out and creating pressure, and then hoping your backside holds strong.
Great ground ball there by Beau Lamontagne. Tomahawks on the clear here. Yeah, as a defender, you can take it a few different ways. Communication is always so key, of talking about the defender on the backside who can fill in if you get rotated out, or extending pressure, anticipating the pass, trying to bat the ball down. There's several different strategies you can take, but it's all a cat and mouse game.
I think offensively, when you're seeing a zone, it just feels like how everybody racks. Oh, they're in a zone. We've got to do something different. And I think what you just said, Jay, offensively, you've got to take it to the zone. You've got to attack the zone and not let them dictate what you're doing. You just got to make them fall into your, let's call it, traps on offense. If they're in the zone, so what? Do the things you need to get your space, and it will eventually break down.
Yeah, and I was fortunate.
Side move here.
I was
Stopped
fortunate
on the doorstep. Connor Dunn. Fletcher with the save. Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry about that, Corey. I was fortunate to play with some fantastic players, and one of which, Billy St. George, Long Island guy, we affectionately called Big Dumb Animal.
BDA.
So sometimes we would just lock off and let BDA go to work, too. That also disrupts the zone.
Right.
Great pick by Gavin Hickey on the defensive end. Gets it up in the middle, and somehow Hudson Russo comes out of those stick checks still with the ball.
Bedford's not, Merrimack's not shying away here at all. Tough on ground balls, running through checks on the clear.
We spent some time talking about that zone defense in that last possession. They had switched to man anyway, so Coach Miller trying to keep things lively, switching things up on that Bedford offense as Max Giles looks to go one-on-one. Dumps it down, shot, score. Giles to Hudson Russo. And the Tomahawks get on the board.
We had a really good angle on that, Corey, at least from where we're sitting. I think that the TV copy will have the same. But if you're the goalie, watch where he gets the shot off. As soon as Sheridan ducks, the balls go basically over his head and in the net. Impossible save, at least in my opinion. And again, I know we talked about this a little bit on our last broadcast. You want to shoot like that. Use the screens you have. Make it really hard for the goalie to see. Well done there by Merrimack to do so.
Yeah, and when you're not moving the ball, it's like your feet are stuck in sand. So, but that goal there was butter for sure.
Sandy Butter, not too shabby for that first goal of the game. Kaliza down the side. Matthews back up top. Coach Miller will certainly be proud of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Matthews directs traffic from the top right of Tremblay. Kaliza with a shot. Looks like it got
little
tipped out in front
there,
yeah. Bulldogs chase it behind as Sam Barrett will restart things. Little pick and roll action from Purnell. Barrett drives, gets high. Kaliza finishes. Nice little cut off ball from Kaliza through the middle there. Barrett keeps his head up, finds the open cutter. Bulldogs go up 4-1.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed here, too. We talked about business as usual, but I've seen Bedford improve on their spacing. You look at Kaliza, he's got no one near him because all of the other players on his side have drawn their defenders out. He basically has a one-on-one with a goalie, which can't happen if you're Merrimack, but good on Bedford to create that opportunity.
When you're as old as we are, you're told to cut to the laces when your guy slides, and that's because the old helmets used to have laces in the back to tie him up. But if you watch there, the slide, the defenseman from Merrimack turns his head, not paying attention, sliding down to the ball. Bedford fills the void. Easy goal there, one-on-one with the goalie from about the doorstep.
Yeah, I love the reference to the laces on the helmet. That's a throwback right there, and well done, Todd.
Thank you.
The old Bacharach raisin.
They don't call me the best color man in the business for nothing.
I don't think they call you the best color man in the business.
Well, that would be for Major League.
Okay, gotcha. Matthews now takes a rip off the post.
Good save, as we call it.
Backed up behind. Purnell starts it to Helton. Kaliza. Good save by Tremblay. Got down. It sounded like he took it off the knee.
Not sure what the scout says here, but all the outside shots so far for Bedford have been low. Everything in tight has been, relative placement, find in the net, but everything outside has been low.
Merrimack has bounced back into that zone defense. Seems like they're alternating possessions depending on the situation. Trying to lock Kaliza off inside. Here they go with the wheel and the overload. Matthews spin. Purnell in tight. He steps in the crease though, and Tomahawks get the turnover. 2:46 to go here in the first quarter. 4-1 is your score. The Bulldogs lead. Brett Vitry picks it up and starts it out. Hands it back to Tremblay. Clearing pass to Russo near the box. And now to the middle to Bergen.
Yeah, we see it as 4-1, but Tremblay's really standing in there. You see a goalie take a shot like he did previously off the knee, and you wonder about his life choices. But good for him to stand in there strong. Really, create a wall for the Merrimack team.
We know that not many goalies are right in the head, and Fletcher, being one of them, makes a nice pick there on the feed through to the crease. Henryshawn up to the box. Matthews, he'll leg it out. Matthews runs through a check, shot wide. Purnell will back it up behind. 1:54 to go in the first. Looks like Barrett doesn't have too many defenders too close to him on this backside. Take a couple steps high and finish lefty. Feed into the middle to Gaffney. He scoops up that ground ball. Now Helton. Shot up top. Tremblay with the save. Nice little kick out to his left side. Matthews is thwarted. Good outlet pass there to Russo. Kerr thought about coming high and laying the lumber, but wisely chose to retreat. And now Anderson is back left. Near side pass is going to trickle out of bounds. Couldn't make the connection with Giles. So Henryshawn picks it up.
Yeah, nice extension by Sheridan there, getting on the hands. Pretty easy routine play. Turns into a turnover just to a poke check.
Riccio with the shot. Wide. It's amazing how just even presence and stick and gloves can make those subtle changes and how the attackmen throw the ball, leading to turnovers like we just saw. Barrett now. 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. This is John Purnell getting a run at the midfield. Matthews to Kaliza. Helton, Kaliza backside, wide open. Barrett, he's going to step around and finish lefty. Nice play by Barrett to step through that check. He has 1 and 1. They should get that assist to John Purnell. Let's see if the official scorer does so, but they extend the lead out 5-1. 20 seconds to go here in the first.
Yeah, and here's what a lefty and John Purnell, the freshman, will do. He'll actually keep it going around, leaving Sam Barrett, as you mentioned earlier, Corey, open. If you're a righty, you got to bring that stick. You got to catch it and bring the stick all the way across your body and turn your shoulders. Not a lot of deception there. Purnell was able to do it pretty smoothly, create a one-on-one opportunity for Barrett.
And also, just again, like you said, Corey, great job to run through the check. We see so much these days that kids want to do a highlight YouTube type of thing, finish there, just run through the check. The defenseman's out of position.
Great vision by Luke Purnell, gives it back to Kaliza. And in just 12 seconds, the Bulldogs score again, 6-1.
Yeah, again, really nice. And there's bringing up the old sayings, the ball is faster than your feet, too. Yep. And we're seeing that here as Bedford playing unselfish lacrosse, creating some really easy opportunities for their teammates.
You had 5 guys on Merrimack who were either, if we just use the football lines, the far hash and goal line extended, which left the complete other side of the field just wide open. Not much for the goalie to do there.
Sheridan to Helton, takes a shot, sails high and wide, but the Bulldogs finish the first quarter 6-1. Nice opening frame for Coach Bordeaux and the Bulldog lacrosse team.
I was just thinking as we had 30, whatever it was, a minute and a half left, thinking to myself, if Merrimack could get out of this at 4-1 in the first quarter, that would be pretty good. And I said to myself, I'm surprised it's not a little more. And, of course, 25 seconds later, here we are.
Yeah, game of runs. I think, too, Corey, we were talking about billboard material. And so we had Bedford talking about how this team ended their season. We have the Merrimack coach talking about how they scheduled on senior night and disrespected us. So that can only take you so far, though.
Trying to get his team excited for this game. 6-1 after one. Officials jibber-jabbing, talking to the squads, making sure we're going to keep things clean as we go throughout the rest of this game on this beautiful sunny May afternoon. The Bulldogs have done well for themselves in positioning for playoffs, though. Again, 13-1, taking on a couple of out-of-state opponents and won those matches quite well, both away and here at home. We had the Marblehead Magicians a couple weeks back. It was a nice out-of-state tilt. A game last year that went down to the wire, but the Bulldogs handled Marblehead quite easily, and then they've won a couple since then. Again, they will take on Londonderry and Pinkerton, two-game road trip as they prepare for playoffs that start next week. Likely to get a 1 seed as Bishop Girton has had a couple of out-of-state losses. Pinkerton is a little bit down this year compared to where they normally are. Exeter also a couple of losses, 2 to the Bulldogs. A couple others throughout their season. So the Bulldogs should hold a 1 seed heading into this playoff season as they start next week.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, I got a little bit of inside intel from the team coaches, as they normally are, a little bit paranoid of, while it is very well deserved and earned to go in as a 1 seed, as last year, you can get upset. And so Bedford has to continue to find a way to keep that fire and that determination, that goal up. And Coach Bordeaux will have his hands full over these next couple weeks.
Again, we welcome in everybody here on BCTV HD 1072. Streaming out on the normal channels as well, as the Bulldogs take on the Merrimack Tomahawks this afternoon. Ready for the second quarter face here. Again, Dylan Riccio will take on Hudson Russo. Goalies have swapped ends. We're ready to go. Squirts out to Sam Durso, senior long stick midfielder. He'll trot into the offensive area. Errant pass goes out of bounds, and it's a turnover. Tomahawks do well to defend that, but really there wasn't a lot of pressure there. Tremblay returns the favor. Durso is there to pick it up. Actually scoots it over to Kaliza. Barrett will finish from Kaliza. And just like that, they extended out to a 7-1 lead on a sloppy face-off, turnover, clear, blown clear, ground ball turns into a goal.
I think if you're Merrimack, those are the ones you can't afford to give up in this type of game against this team. If you're getting the ball, as they would teach you when you first make the step into being a goalie, which, again, I don't even know when you would want to do that. But if you're getting the ball in your crease and there's someone in your face, the first thing you do, go to the back of the crease. Get behind the net so you're not giving up, just like hockey, the puck in front of the net. Bedford turns around, makes the extra pass. Easy score there for Bedford.
Riccio wins the following face-off. Kaliza across the net. Same connection. Kaliza to Barrett.
Little tic-tac-toe, ping-pong, whatever you want to call it. When it's like that, it's tough to defend.
Wasn't looking at the timing, but it couldn't have been more than 10 seconds later. Same combination. Barrett quickly has a hattie. Kaliza with 4 and 2. They push it out to 8-1.
Yeah, and what we talked about, the spacing, the 2-on-1 opportunities. When you move the ball quickly, you're always creating a 2-on-1, and you see there on the goal, the Bedford defender can't cover the guy on the crease and the guy on goal line extended. So pick your poison.
It doesn't take much, just to pop over there. Again, little tennis racket it to him. Just get it over there, and then it's an easy finish.
Parker O'Toole on the face-off win for the Bulldogs. And now Barrett back up top to Matthews.
So Todd, what's the preferred offense for Riv?
We run a 1-4 there. Sometimes slide into a 2-2-2, but we generally run a 1-4. Seems to give us the most, just like that. You know, you can get a lot of crease looks. We do some things on the crease off our dodges. We've got very good dodgers, and we've got very good finishers inside. So that allows us, just like that. You do your dodge, as you said, you create the 2-on-1. Somebody should be cutting wide open, and you're looking for that dunk look, little, you know, relative alley-oop.
Nice feed from behind. Baird returns the favor to Kaliza. Kaliza with 5 and 2 now. Baird with 3 and 2. And now a face-off win for Rousseau. Tomahawks get it into their area, but O'Toole is there for the ground ball after it gets checked out. Henrishon's pass will sail out of bounds. So the Merrimack Tomahawks will take over near side, clearing from left to right. Road blue uniforms, good check here by Kaliza, gets the ball on the ground. Cleaning up the scraps there, Gavin Hickey, but checked out of his stick by Luke Purnell. Purnell looks across, Soden gets a goal, a rare goal for number 7, the senior Dylan Soden, a defensive midfielder. And you can see how excited the bench was for Dylan on that score.
He was so excited he ate corn after right here. Goes
sure
right
did.
to the corn cob, getting into it. It's summertime, beautiful night here.
Good celly for the senior on senior day.
If you look
Bulldogs
at,
go up to 10-1.
if you look at the past, at least the goals this quarter, you know, 3 or 4 in a row here, all the same thing. It just seems like Merrimack's having a little trouble getting it out of their end, turning it over. Bedford making the good pass, the unforced error, or excuse me, the extra pass, and having a one-on-one with the goalie. I think they might have got him there for excessive celebration, Corey.
As they did not have a face-off, so they award the ball to the Tomahawks.
These refs must not like corn on the cob.
It is summertime. We're getting into corn on the cob season. Perhaps they prefer watermelon with their cookout.
Maybe a summer slaw, I'm not even sure.
Either way, the Tomahawks will get into their half-field set, 6-on-6 lacrosse for the first time this quarter. Far side to Giles. Henrishon defends. Here's Caden Dine. Looks to ISO on Alex Gabry. Back up top to Rousseau. He's harassed by Durso, who's going to draw a flag. I believe they're going to call a hold. And there it is. You can hear it from our phenomenal field microphone. Andrew Fenn placing the fuzzy microphone down there so we can hear the near side official. Durso will trot off for a 30-second penalty. He'll go in the box and feel shame.
Yeah, that's a tough one to call on Durso there after he got the ball on the ground. Could have gone either way. Clearly the refs had the sun in their eyes, but here we are, Bedford on the first man down.
Sun is a factor here. Great save for Fletcher. He can't move it. He can't grab it with his hand, though. The indoor goalies can, but the outdoor goalies cannot, so that is a procedure. Great save by Fletcher, though, on a low worm burner from up top from Giles. But his handling of the ball will turn it over to the Tomahawks. They'll start back right with Landon Bedard. They'll spin it around on this man-up opportunity. Here's Dunn, far side, time and space, and Fletcher chases it out as Rousseau misses the cage. Fletcher rounded that left pipe nicely and backed it up, got possession for the Bulldogs. Soden will pick it up now. Matthews, little dodge there.
Crowd into it.
crowd and players. Barrett makes a dodge, runs through another check, scores another goal. So Barrett for Matthews. Matthews' third assist, Barrett's fourth goal.
I think it's the second time we've seen Barrett run through the check, or run through a check, which again is just a hard concept, I think, for, or at least I find myself repeating it a lot. Just run through the check. Don't worry about faking anybody out. The defenseman is running at you, and as he's doing so, sort of making himself more compromised as he does that if you're willing to just run through the check. As a coach I know would say, you're wearing $1,000 of equipment, you're going to get one check, and then you're going to score a goal. It's worth it.
Riccio on the ensuing face-off win.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of a difference from the Merrimack team last year. Not to try to compare the two teams, but they were a little bit more of a physical, imposing team last year, following through on some of those body checks, whereas that time Barrett was able to walk through, run through. I joke with my son, it's not a lightsaber. It's not going to cut anybody in half. People can run through it. And we're seeing Bedford have the patience to move through and get a good shot on cage.
I do believe, I'm not exactly sure, but I do believe Merrimack lost some seniors. I think now they've only got 3 seniors on the roster as compared to there's 3 senior defensemen on Bedford. I think they lost a couple guys, and the old saying about what the team looks like that gets off the bus, it does look like Bedford's got a little bit of size advantage here.
Yeah, talking to Coach Miller before the game, he does feel it's not rebuilding, it's reloading. He does feel like he's got a pretty good pipeline of younger talent coming through from Merrimack here in the upcoming years.
Tristan Kerr on the clear, settles things down and finds Brody Helton near side. He'll walk it into the offensive zone. .7:15 left here in the second quarter. The Bulldogs ahead 11-1. Helton hesitates, back to Matthews, drives lefty, now back to his right. Looks inside. Had Kaliza's stick open, decided not to jam it into the crease there. Little twist here. Helton bodies the Merrimack defender out of the way. Nathan Bergen. Tough matchup on that GB. Helton will take it behind. Bergen will defend. Helton little backhander goes off the pipe. Had Tremblay beat, and the ground ball comes out to Caden Dine. He'll settle things down, looks into the middle. Sees Lamontagne decide not to press it, and now the pass on the back cut gets deflected by Kerr. Kerr will press the issue. Lobs it into Kaliza, tough one there, and that sails over the end line.
Yeah, that's one of those ones from a long stick. Not only do you get the opportunity to get over midfield, but senior night, you start having those thoughts, highlight reel, ESPN and whatnot. Got a little ahead of himself, but nice play at the defensive end.
I think you meant BCTV there.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, this is the lacrosse version of ESPN, of course.
I was curious if it looked like, based on the shadow, I just wonder if the sun might have gotten in his eyes too, just had little trouble seeing it.
Quite possible, but that pass was also about 15 yards over his head, so it might have been a combination of them. Fletcher chasing that all the way over the deep right corner. Pretty sure it would have been considered a pass and not an errant shot from 90 yards away. Henryshawn dumps up top. They climb the ladder on that far sideline. Gaffney will step it in, and Coach Bordeaux will take a timeout. 5:27 left in the first half. The Bulldogs ahead 11-1. Todd, thoughts so far? We've had one Merrimack goal.
I think I'm not in the Bedford huddle, but if I'm Bedford right now, I'm thinking to myself, let's stomp on it here. Let's not play and throw it around and have a good time. Let's pedal to the metal here. Let's put this one out of reach and just get on with our day. They have the talent. They have the physical strength, the physical matchup here. I think at this point, just saying, hey guys, let's stop. Let's not throw the ball away. Let's just really stomp on it here.
Now, what do you consider that out of reach margin? So it's 11-1 now. There's 5.5 left in that second quarter. At what point do you think Coach Bordeaux puts in some of his substitutes, gets some experience for younger players while having a comfortable lead? And now, not saying the Tomahawks couldn't start putting together a comeback here, but what is your thought on that?
I think what I'm thinking, or what I'd be saying, it's not so much about score, it's about the execution on the field. And whether you're up 10 or 20 or 2, this is not the type of play that we want to be executing as we're heading down into the home stretch of the season. Let's have crisp passes, let's finish, let's hold on to the ball, let's take the ball away, let's be in good position. But it's more of a mindset than a goal, I think, because I think if they were doing that, they could easily have 15, 16 goals already. But in the past maybe 3 or 4 minutes, I think again, it's just slipped a little bit for Bedford, where I think they could be playing a little bit better than they were the past couple minutes.
Yeah, I'd pile onto that. I think this is a point in time where you change the goals of the game. You start saying it's not about scoreboard. If I were Coach Bordeaux, I'd want to see 2 things. I'd want to see how many clears are failed by Merrimack, so how well you can ride, and then secondly, how many assists people can rack up.
Right.
If you're passing the ball and getting assists, those are more of a premium than the goals.
We're back underway here. Helton near side. We'll see about some of those assists. Matthews runs through 2 checks in the middle, finishes low. Tremblay couldn't catch up as Matthews was only about 5 or 6 yards out as he split 2 defenders and puts the Bulldogs up 12-1.
Yeah, and if I could talk about this is where physicality comes in. You see Matthews here, look to his right at 99 coming at him. If he's worried about a strong presence in the crease, he's definitely not looking off to his right, someone on his back, because he knows someone's coming in his face. And so I think that's what Merrimack has really got to turn around and slide with the body from the middle of the field. Make sure Bennett's not given the opportunity to look at the secondary defender behind him and figure out how to work through him and score a goal.
So I can imagine the Merrimack players won't take too kindly if this score does get a bit wider margin. Some of that physical play might come in. We'll see if the officials become a factor here in trying to control things. Barrett gets to his left, finishes again.
Yeah, yet again, we see Barrett taking the initiative and getting through that stick check. And unfortunately, the slide from across the crease was a bit slow or non-existent. Tough for the goalie if you're expecting that stick to come through and body to follow. But instead getting a hands-free shot on the doorstep. Yeah,
I think if you're Coach Miller, you're hoping that Gavin Hickey, number 47, that he's only a sophomore, so understandable, but you're hoping he's coming across the crease and putting a shoulder into Barrett there, so he doesn't come across the crease, come into the crease again, but just late, no slide, and Barrett able to just bounce one past the goalie.
Tomahawks win the ensuing face-off. Ground ball on the far side after a couple missed passes. We're going to get a timeout as Max Giles picks up the ground ball. Merrimack takes a timeout, 4:37 to go. Second quarter, the Bulldogs ahead 13-1 over the Tomahawks.
Yeah, and given we've all played personally with Coach Miller, he should understand he gets beaten a lot, and he's always calling for that help across. And so I'm surprised his team isn't well schooled by his pleas for help.
Yeah, he's frequently needing that first slide and second slide, to be honest. So when it does happen to him, he should be in that spot to coach his team up. We'll see how that plays out in the next 4:37 in the first half and then the ensuing second half.
Major difference there, guys, is Coach Miller is old.
That is true. It is true.
It is true. Well, if you're listening to us here on BCTV, you can also get on-demand content. It's easy to access at your fingertips. The BCTV is now available for free download. It's an app on Apple iOS and Android. You can download the app from your app store today. Todd, do you have the app?
I do not, but I certainly will go get it. I didn't realize.
No, Todd, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Nothing like being able to bore yourself to sleep with the sound of your own voice.
Well, yeah. I mean, what else are you going to fall asleep to? Don't answer that.
My wife would say, well, it's free for her. She doesn't need the app.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm dabbling. I have Ubuntu as a OS provider. Does that app work on Ubuntu?
Wasn't that a
Celtic slogan?
Little slogan back in the Doc Rivers days?
No, it's KG Big Three. KG
2008.
Yeah, Ubuntu. It means together or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, I like the reference, Jay. Well done. I didn't know they had an app like that.
I'm assured that it does not work. It's not compatible.
Oh, it's not?
Ubuntu.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Appreciate on-site producer, director Andrew Fenn setting the record straight here. Thank you. Ball gets slapped out of bounds by the Bulldogs.
It worked. They did call it a shot as well.
Did they?
They did call it a shot.
That was kind of a gross shot, but either way, the Tomahawks come up with it on the backup.
Over and back.
Over and back, as you clearly heard from the near side official, Tim McCaffrey. 4:10 left in the first half. Dylan Soden picks it up. He'll step it into the box. Drop it off for Alex Gabri. Gaffney now. Like these substitution patterns too, something else Coach Bordeaux and his squad can work on, and trying to trap non-defensive players back in the defensive half field. Shot here by John Purnell, lefty on the run. Save Tremblay as he got a piece of it on the way by.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing Bedford employ a lot more plays as you see the progression through the year. As we see there, just the one-on-one bull dodge. But Bedford's been able to install a bunch more plays, and I think that's going to do them well as it gets into the second half in the playoffs as they show new looks to their opponents.
Sam Barrett on the goal there. Nice little rocker step you see there. Sheds his defender. Beats Tremblay near post. And Barrett having a game, 5 goals in the first half here. 5-2 for Barrett, 5-2 for Kaliza. Bulldogs ahead 14-1.
Little fun fact, Sam's mom and I, alumnus of Fayetteville Manlius High School together in upstate New York. So good to see that progress here to the
Is that
East Coast.
Canada?
Close.
That's almost.
You can see it from your house.
I think it's Ontario, eh? Ticking down to 3 minutes left in the first half. A little bit of delay in action there as the Bulldogs got their offensive midfielders on. Helton takes a shot on the run. High and right. Sam Barrett back there to collect the backup.
It's another interesting point, too, for viewers out there. You start to see, you wouldn't think about it, but the substitution game can really be an asset. We saw Brody Helton get a clear run based on a substitution over the midline by Dylan Riccio. Another, wrinkle in the Bedford arsenal. Good to see him practice here.
Pass up top. Kaliza switches hands and pings the pipe.
I think, Jay, if you watch games this weekend from Final Four or this past weekend, or really any, all through the college season, that being able to substitute from the midfield, as we get a goal there from Connor Dunn, senior midfielder in Merrimack. But that you're absolutely right. That ability to sub from the midfield really can change a game and create fast breaks. Doesn't always, but when it does, boy, it comes fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you mentioned, Connor Dunn on the goal for the Tomahawks, assisted by Peyton Connolly. Another goal on the board for the Tomahawks with 2:22 to go in the second quarter. Riccio wins it back for himself. Up quickly to Matthews. Nice check there by Caden Dine. Recovered by Matthews, though. And now J.J. Gaffney on the far side. Looks for an ineffective pick from Riccio.
I don't think he was looking for an ineffective pick.
get what you pay for with a long stick on.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Just be happy you didn't slash someone while you set the pick.
Helton with a pick of the clearing attempt, up quick to Kaliza. Fires it across. Gaffney down low, pass. Can't make the connection with Barrett, and that'll trickle out of bounds. Tomahawks will pick it up.
I think this is a little bit what you're seeing is what I was saying about that timeout, and I'm not, again, I'm not sure if they talked about it, but that kind of play there, you just want to have a crisper and great save. Even that transition right there. If you're Bedford, you do not want to be taking some of these plays into the playoffs here.
I missed it. Were they pushing ahead on a 10-man ride here? I'm not quite sure why the attackman was so wide open deep in that far right corner.
Yeah, I think they had Fletcher out of the cage guarding the offside deep attackman, and the defender here, number 47, real heads-up play to connect long.
Gavin Hickey. 2 saves now for Fletcher in the past 2 possessions. The senior doing well between the pipes this evening. Nice outlet pass on the run to Bennett Matthews. Matthews split dodge to his left. Can't hit the cage outside right. 36 ticks left in the first half.
And Todd, you were talking about this past weekend. You're right. A ton of great games, very high-level lacrosse, and by utilizing mismatches when it comes to substitutions or this wheel route we're talking about, you see the college teams and the ones that really do well, they do that a ton. All they're doing is trying to find the matchup they want because the guys are so high level, and girls, to be honest, a lot of movement. They got to find the matchup they want and exploit it over and over and over.
Absolutely. And that's, as you've said, that's just the game in a nutshell.
Helton's stick cracks. He'll trot off without it.
We haven't seen one of those in a while. I think Helton last year led the league in broken sticks.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite story, though. He was running through defenders' sticks. This time he breaks his own on the shot attempt. 10 seconds to go in the first half. Sam Barrett for the Bulldogs, far side. It looked like they want to ISO Barrett as Colby Smith defends. Barrett picks up a pick, rolls back away. He'll drive hard lefty, dodges a couple of checks, shoots at the buzzer, but they call it off. Tough timing there as Barrett was looking for his 7th goal of the first half. He has 6 and 2.
I'm not sure if we'll get a replay, but it looked like it was the right call. I don't know if we'll be able to get a replay on this, but if we hit 0, well, we don't have the clock on the replay.
Either way, it's a good call with a 14-2 score. So we'll head into halftime as the Bulldogs have a 14-2 lead. We'll see on the other side here on BC TV and Division I High School Lacrosse from Bedford High School. Welcome back to Bedford High School Stadium here in Bedford, New Hampshire. The BC TV broadcast bringing you today's Bedford High School Bulldog lacrosse game against the visiting Merrimack Tomahawks. I'm Corey Munster-Tiger, joined by Todd Koss and Jay Abendroth. Halftime score 14-2. We are underway in the third quarter as the faceoff is controlled by Dylan Riccio. Pass at the feet of Matthews, but he controls anyway. Scoring in that first half concentrated mainly in 2 people. 6 goals by Sam Barrett, 5 goals by Derek Kaliza, a goal each by Soden, Matthews, and Helton. And that's your 14 on the other side. A goal each for Connor Dunn and Hudson Russo for the Tomahawks. And the Bulldogs lead by 12. Great save here by Ethan Kahn, who has stepped into the cage for the Bulldogs for this second half of action. Outlet pass to Soden, and now Matthews will settle things down. Ball falls out of his stick. Sam Barrett is there for the ground ball. Jay, thoughts from that first half?
Yeah, not a lot to criticize Bedford on. Really dominated in all facets. I think, again, it's keeping up the intensity and the pressure on the little things that are going to translate forward. Would love to see Merrimack come out and extend a bit, really press on Bedford, make them work for those goals.
Great save here by Tremblay as Matthews had a time and space step down shot from 15 yards.
Almost looked like he was surprised that he wasn't going to get contact, like he was disinterested. Like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be this open.
Yeah.
He was that open, and Tremblay was ready for it. Helton's shot here goes wide of the cage. Todd, any other thoughts? What kinds of adjustments are you expecting from each coach here in the second half?
Yeah, I think Jay said it perfectly earlier. For Bedford, the goals of the game are changing. It's not giving up transition goals, not, as we've seen the last two shots, didn't look like they had full effort. Let's step on it. Let's make sure our passes are crisp. We're clearing the ball. We're riding on attack. We're just getting ourselves prepared for the lacrosse that's ahead of us. And for Merrimack, I just think they, at this point, which I don't think they have, they just got to not quit. They got a lot of, they're willing to fight, willing to play. They just got to get a couple on the board here.
Kaliza across the formation. Matthews gets his defender down on the ground. His shot pings off the near side pipe. Comes to the near sideline. As a backup. Body language tells me a little bit of disinterest. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but the game is a 12-goal margin at this point, but it's not completely over. As Barrett gets free here in the middle and scores. Barrett with 7 goals now as Matthews assists.
Yeah, and I think this is one, as we see our defense huddle, very senior laden, this is the one where you start to have that perspective that says, hey, there's only so many more times this year we're going to be on this field. Let's make sure we make the best of it. And that's actually the thing, the little spark that's going to get you going a little bit to end this strong.
Barrett, no interest in senior night.
Yeah.
It's not affecting him whatsoever.
Well, Derek Kaliza has 5 goals as well, the senior who recently eclipsed the 100 career goal mark. Riccio comes away with the ground ball. But yeah, I mean, he could be giving it up to his senior teammates
counterparts.
Here. Alex Cotnoir gives it back to Purnell. We might start to see some more of these substitutions as John Purnell comes in. Gets another run at midfield. Alex Cabri is on near side midfielder spot. Exchange with Purnell and sub through the midfield. Matthews comes back on. A little shake and bake, feed backside. Purnell, nice little dip and dunk for Purnell. He gets on the goal column.
Yeah, we saw the movement there at Bedford really creating havoc for Merrimack. Let's watch this crease defender follow number 11. Excuse me, is that Barrett? Or no, yeah, John Purnell in the middle, leaving that skip pass down to goal line extended, wide open.
And a great finish, too. It's one thing to catch it on the doorstep. You got to finish, fake, another little second fake, bounce it around the goalie. You have to score those ones in the upcoming games, and you can't just be firing it off his face mask.
I have to say, great vision by Matthews, too. He saw the first slide coming to the crease and looked all the way backside. So, beautiful skip pass. And, yes, the finish on top of it by Purnell. Parker O'Toole, great save.
2 saves in a row.
2 saves in a row. Cotnoir was right there for the ground ball, and Tremblay made 2 right in a row. Keep it at 16-2.
Yeah, I think that's just like we talked about before. Sometimes you can be too wide open.
Right.
And Cotnoir picked up the ball, didn't quite realize he was so wide open, probably had a fake in him, if there's such a thing from a defender.
If there's ever a description of the difference between an attackman and a defender, is on the previous goal on that shot attempt there. The attackman, little fake, finishes. I will say, hard to finish in that close with a deep hole, though. Corralling the whole thing, so you got to be in tight there. You want your hands closer together. A little tougher to do with a deep hole.
Tremblay with a save. Tom Hawks looking to clear.
Yeah, and we see here Bedford trying out that 10-man ride again.
Good patience from the Tomahawks. They break it.
Those are the things, Jay, I think that I would want to be working on in this game. Things like that. Hey, let's test some things out. Make sure they're, 16-2. going to be a tough one to come back from, I think, for Merrimack, just given the way the game's going. But, Bedford can work on some things here that can take him in, later in the season.
Yeah, and for those at home may not be familiar, when we talk about a 10-man ride, if you think about it, there's a goalie and the 9 players. And when you're clearing, you have your goalie out in the field. And Corey, go ahead.
Great goal there by Sean Anderson, dodging from the right wing. Low shot beats Ethan Kahn. 16-3 is your score. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so if you think about it, you have your goalie out in the field playing, and it's an extra passer basically when your goalie is still stuck in cage. So what teams will do to create some pressure is bring their goalie out, and that goalie will go guard the attackman that is the furthest away from the ball. That allows basically man-to-man, and it creates pressure on the goalie to hopefully cause a turnover.
Somewhat risky
when you
play.
When you know you're in a 10-man ride, sorry, Corey, when you know you're getting the 10-man ride thrown against you, if you're the guy that's taking, you got to have a call on your team to know that's coming, and whoever the goalie is trying to cover, you're trying to get as far away from the goal as possible. You can just cheap one in, but again, I think things that Bedford could be working on for later in the season, or at least show on film, that's for sure.
The only aspect of that I might question is that you're up 16-3, you're early in the second half, and you're extending a 10-man ride. It's like keeping a full court press on when you're up 25. I like that he's working on it, but you might want to work on that a little bit earlier in the game.
Yeah, and this is, I think you had asked about before, when do you pull the starters? If you're not working on stuff with the starters, I think you're getting close to that point where you just let the next generation come in and get a run.
Purnell to Gaffney, 17-3.
So Corey, you asked the question: when is the point? This is the point.
This is the point. Yeah. So,
we have arrived at the point.
And of course, we started this second half with a margin of 12 goals. That by NHIAA rules means we had running time after that third quarter opening face-off. So we are under 3.5 to go in this fast-moving third quarter. They've extended it out to a 17-3 lead. Parker O'Toole on the face-off win. Tosses it back to Kerr. They've used this play quite a bit recently. As the face-off win going into the defensive half, they'll give a little flip to a defender who's got a head of steam and will be ready to lead a break, looking for opportunities in transition. Baird gives it behind. Luke Purnell. Under 3 to go in the third quarter. Purnell looks to drive lefty. Draws the double. Kicks it up top. Matthews rolls back into the defender. Feet inside. Misses Gaffney's stick, and now a ground ball by Max Giles. He gets over midfield.
Took a good hack.
Official right there, observing it all, felt there was no foul.
That's when I let out the ever so subtle, ah!
Oh! Sometimes that works on rookie officials.
I think the quality of the field mic made that sound a little worse than it could have been. Credit to the BCTV team.
Thank you again, Andrew Fenn. Shot wide here by Max Giles. Bill Jennings up top helping on the camera. Dale Bird back in the studio with the replays. Professional level quality here, I must say, and that's, just being modest, of course. Kerr defending Connor Dunn. Shot goes wide.
Merrimack's not giving up, that's for sure. They're still trying to push, testament to Coach Miller. Again, as we called him earlier, I think old and slow, but he doesn't quit, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does embody both of those. I'd say all three of those. Old, slow, and not a quitter. Fake up top. Good check there. Durso got a stick in. Got the ball on the turf. Gets the ground ball going his way. And now Barrett comes away with the ground ball, switches to his right hand, feeds in the middle. Matthews save Tremblay.
Max Giles from Merrimack creating some good opportunities for. I know he got taken away there, but he's pushing. There's no question he is not giving up. A couple times there he's got himself to the middle, just hasn't been able to finish on it, but well done.
Scrappy junior midfielder, contributing throughout this game, has an assist on the day. ISO from behind for Gaffney. Gets the edge, save Tremblay. Anticipated nicely as he saw Gaffney's stick drop the head of it. Felt that low shot coming. Long pass attempt here. Ends up in a ground ball for Connor Dunn, and that'll sound the third quarter horn as the Bulldogs lead 17-3. We call that sometimes a cheap or a Gilman, many different ways of calling that as just getting it to the other end of the field from a defenseman. And sometimes it ends up like that. It's a scrap for the ball, it's on the turf, and your offensive players get an opportunity late in the quarter.
Biggest thing there on defense is to play the man, not the ball, as we saw, Corey, last year in one of our semifinal games. If you play the ball and the man is taller than you, he's going to the net, that's for sure.
Yeah, the strategy there is the defensemen take the offensive players and their sticks out of play, and your goalie is there to be free and scoop up that loose ball. So you like to have that general strategy amongst your defensemen. Sometimes people miss the message.
Yeah, and don't underestimate. It's kind of like the dead straight putt in golf. It's hard when the ball's up in the air that long, and we saw Spencer Henderson bobble that pass. That's a hard catch when it's coming, and you know everybody sees where it's going. So, good on Bedford, but Merrimack creating a little bit of a stir.
If you're enjoying this game, you could check out more BHS sports action from Bedford Community TV on your Apple TV and/or Roku device. I don't think it's on Ubuntu. Download the app to watch the next game live on the big screen.
Yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we can talk to Andrew about that. Playoff coverage will be starting next Thursday, May 30th, for both the boys and girls, who will likely have high seeds in the playoffs as they enter postseason play. You can also listen to many of these games on WBNH. It's easy to listen to 105.1 online at wbnh.bedfordnh.org for stream links. They also are on apps like TuneIn, MyTuner, Simple Radio, and Radio Garden. Notice I didn't say Ubuntu. Just tell Alexa to play Bedford 105.1.
Yeah, and it strikes me here, we're talking a lot about Bedford given the B and BC TV, but if you are the Merrimack team, you're really dealing with the psychology of a pretty young team. And sometimes you got to look kids square in the eye and say, hey, that's what good looks like.
Right. And
let's just finish this out. Yeah, we're not going to win this game, but what are we going to take away from it? Much like we talked about with Bedford, setting some goals.
Nice ground ball there by Nathan Bergen. Connor Dunn will go behind, settle things down for the Tomahawks, and now we've seen some defensive substitutions for the Bulldogs. Colby Boyd back there along with Camden Santos and Will Frangelo. Alex Cotnoir, Dylan Soden and John Purnell round out the six on the defensive side. Caden Dine up top looks to ISO. Dumps it down low. Landon Bedard. Spin it back around and it finds Dine again, top left. Slips by him and Dunn picks up the loose ball. Roll dodge to his left hand, tries to get free. Shot save. Ethan Kahn, true to the task there. Caden Dine had time and space and put it high to high. Soden in transition. Down low, Barrett. Barrett, high to low, changes planes and comes up with his 8th goal of the game.
Yeah, really nice textbook fast break. One of the few we've actually seen. It was clean, a 4-on-3. And interestingly, we see the starting attack still out there. maybe a little bit of a precursor for Coach Bordeaux about where he sees the work to be put in. I do wonder, though, Derek Kaliza, longtime senior, tons of goals. Do you think he kind of nudged Coach a little bit and said, give me a little more run on senior night?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know if he's close to some other kind of threshold, but maybe there's some of that going on as far as career numbers. Parker O'Toole runs through a check. Flag is on the field. It's been a relatively clean game. I think that's only the second penalty we've seen. As the official felt there might have been a cross check or some kind of high check on O'Toole as he ran through that. So the Bulldogs will have an extra man opportunity. Again, another opportunity for them to work on something they haven't done much of in this game. Gaffney, little stutter step, tries to get back to his strong right hand. Ball on the ground. Good hustle there by Colby Smith to get a check and get the play blown dead.
Yeah, I'm thinking, going back, I think Kaliza is more of the love of the game type of guy. We just saw Barrett score. If he was out there hunting stats, he would have gone over to the young buck and said, no, this is my night. You pass that ball to me. Didn't see that, so I'm going to chalk it up to Kaliza, just wanting to be out there and enjoy the sun.
That sun is to the top right of, looks like Brett Vitry is now in cage for, no, I'm sorry, that's Zach Troiani for the Tomahawks. Matthews gets some space, that gets tipped out in front from Vitry.
That'll welcome you to the game, catching one of those 12 yards coming at your face. Got a little tip, though, helped him out. Same thing, though.
Here it comes again, and there it goes right by him into that low left corner as Matthews scores.
To me, that is perfect placement from that shot there. Low corner, just an overhand rocket, really tough. The goalie's obviously looking high, your stick's high. You put it down, he's got to change planes, he's got to go down and over to get it. Just can't get there. It's just too hard of a shot if you place it well. And here come the attackmen making a little change here.
Yeah, and we saw there young Trevor Charette was the string man, the guy in the middle, stepping up a bit late. And again, coaching opportunity, one for the Merrimack team to say, hey, you got to get out there a little sooner. You'll learn, but that's what it really looks like, the speed of this game.
Riccio won the faceoff, but then got checked by Lamontagne. Loose ball goes right to Dine.
Who was that again, Corey?
Lamontagne.
Oh, okay.
Beau Lamontagne. I mean, if you want the real French pronunciation, I'm not sure if he uses that or not.
It was nice. I liked it.
Thanks. A lot of high school French takes you nowhere in life.
You kidding me? Takes you here.
Yeah, I was going to say. Right, I would just. I don't know. Is that a dig at us?
Jay, seriously.
It was.
I don't know much French, but.
Right next to you, Corey. We can hear you.
Shot backed up behind. Landon Bedard. Peyton Connolly now. Tracked by Alex Gabri. Far side, here's Anderson. Back near side, Connolly. Connolly will go. Left wing here, no angle shot off the back of the net. He gets his own miss and ground ball. Shot here, score. Connor Dunn from Max Giles.
That's a good thing if you're Merrimack, see that. That's good placement. You watch here. Connor Dunn slides into the right spot. Little hesitation there for a second. He wasn't sure where the check was coming. But again, if you're catching the ball in a place to shoot and you can get it off quick, it's just harder for a goalie to adjust. So very well done. Good shot. Puts another one on the board for Merrimack.
Back to the face-off X. Parker O'Toole. Barrett puts it right in the basket of Zach Troiani. Tomahawks look to clear, but the Bulldogs chasing it down. 1, 2, 3. And Joey Miller finds the goal here late. 6:01 to go in the game.
Yeah, an unselfish play by Parker Gupta here. We see him getting the ball in the middle, having the wherewithal. I guess that's the defense. The difference. If you were defense, you'd probably shoot that without looking. But an attackman, an 11th grader, no less, was able to have the wherewithal to look up and get the easier shot and score.
Gupta catches the ball, eyes are up. He's not looking at his feet or staring at the goalie. Eyes are up. Sees Miller peeking down or streaking over on the backside. Like you said, extra man, extra pass, whatever you want to call it. Very well done by Bedford.
Yeah, if you're a defender there, you're thinking that split second, that one opportunity you have to form a thought, you're thinking, can I put this through the net?
How hard can I shoot this ball? Yeah. It makes no difference where it goes.
Right.
Troiani comes up with a loose ball. Nice outlet up the middle to Josh Kahn. Kahn near side. Gets it back, but he can't squeeze it. Santos comes away with the ground ball.
Interesting. We've been talking about 2-on-1s, and we see there they put Santos in a choice, and he ended up splitting the difference, and sometimes that's just as hard because you're guarding neither. But thankfully, Merrimack wasn't able to squeeze it and bring it home.
Soden to Barrett. Save Troiani. Coaching staff yells out yellow. Let's get some substitutions on the field and settle things down with 4.5 to go in the game. 20-4 is your score. The Bulldogs lead over the Tomahawks. Gabri, a little sidestep. Dishes down. Barrett again hesitates, runs through 2 checks, and the high bouncer finds the top left corner.
Kid knows how to score.
Yeah, no question. No question. At this point, it's just tough for the Merrimack goalies. Most of the shots from Bedford, a couple outside shots here and there, but a lot of them have just been, either one-on-one or one-on-a-half or one-on-none.
Yeah.
21-4. Bulldogs lead. Nice goal there by Barrett. That's his 9th on the game. 9 times.
9 times.
Assisted by Alex Gabri.
1/10 of the way there to 100 in one game, or just one shy. Yeah.
Have a game. He's a freshman, scoring 9 goals. Not too shabby.
Yeah, I think last year we had a statistician. We don't this year, making us do that type of math, 1/10 and whatnot. But it
technically 9%.
It strikes me, though, that Bedford has really had an up-and-down season when it comes to scoring. They've had a few tight ones, but they've also had a few like this. And it's good to see the second team get a run. But, again, you talk about it's going to be an interesting week of practice for them getting up for the playoffs.
For sure.
Gupta rounds the edge there with his left hand, stoned on the doorstep by Troiani, but he got the rebound.
I think there's just enough for Coach Bordeaux to be able to get through a couple days of practice without giving him too much praise, is my guess.
Yeah. Well,
Dylan Soden up top. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and we're talking about this as well. Getting this second team some run, it also helps your team because think about who the starters practice against. It gets these guys game time experience and allows you to mimic your opponent's offense a lot better when you guys have guys that have been in the barrel.
Good catch there on the outlet. Josh Kahn getting into transition. That right there, a shot by Soden, high to high, stick side high. Troiani came up with it. It was a hard shot, but that's a defensive midfielder shooting right there. Classic example of what most long sticks will do. Feed inside. Kahn, shot, save. Ethan Kahn gets a stick out.
And we see Soden here set to take a run. I don't think he's wearing elbow pads.
He's got him on his triceps there.
Yeah, and that's not the proper usage per the U.S. Lacrosse.
It's also, I don't know about you guys, but you take one on the elbow, I bump into the counter and hit my elbow and I'm on the floor.
Yep, I've got scars that remind me.
Oh, it hurts.
That it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
It looks cool, but it hurts.
I don't
you got
even
my
know if it
funny
looks
bone
cool.
again. Yeah, I think they're taking their lead from many of the college players these days that wear the smallest ones they possibly can. I actually saw in one of the recent games one of those guys that was wearing the smallest possible elbow pads got whacked on the elbow and was crippled. And you're like, hey, come on, dude, just wear a bigger pad.
They actually make something to protect you from that.
Cause effect.
And they let a little more lumber go in those Division I games. The defenseman can really haul off on those arms and not get called for slashes. So.
And I don't know what it's getting you, not to get into a deep discussion about equipment, but I don't know what it's getting you. The equipment is so good now and so ergonomically correct, it's not really giving you much advantage to not have it. In fact, I would make the case, particularly for attackmen. I mean, when I was in junior high, which was a long time ago, we got out of the practice of wearing rib pads. That was like the cool thing. You take your rib pads off, and then, you get to college and you take a titanium shaft across the ribs, and you're thinking to yourself, can I put my rib pads back on, Coach? Or
we didn't need much rib padding today as the Bulldogs led start to finish. 21-4 is your final as the Bulldogs run out the final seconds there. Sam Barrett, have a day, kid. This freshman attacker, 9 goals, 2 assists, phenomenal scoring outburst from number 14. Here on senior day, I think that's a little odd as he took a little bit of the attention away from those seniors, as Jay referenced earlier in the day. But Derek Kaliza, the senior attackman, also with 5 goals on the day, 2 assists, leading the Bulldogs to a 21-4 victory. Goals for the Tomahawks, 2 by Connor Dunn, 1 by Hudson Russo, 1 by Sean Anderson, and that'll round out the scoring for both teams. Please pay attention to BC TV for upcoming playoff games. Any closing thoughts from either of you, Jay?
Yeah, I would say a typical dominating game from the defense, really locked it down, and I love to see Bedford initiating offense from the midfield, but closing on the attack. It hasn't been the case all the way through, so good to see those attackmen fill up the stat sheet.
I would say 9 goals certainly is a finishing effort there by Barrett. Any other thoughts, Koss?
Yeah, I think Bedford in this game. Get in, get out, get it over with. Get some practice, things you can work on for practice. Get ready for the playoffs. Good win for them, for sure.
Bedford pushes their record to 14-1. The Tomahawks fall to 8-7 as they position themselves for playoffs starting next week. We appreciate the BC TV crew up top. Bill Jennings on the camera, Andrew Fenn producing and directing here. Back in the studio, Dale Bird on replays. For Jay Abendraw, Todd Koss, I am Corey Munstertiger on BC TV. We'll see you for next broadcast from BC TV. Have a great night.